Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play V6, or V to the 6. On the last episode, we rescued Verdigris, and now we are off to rescue our final crew member, which is actually going to require a fair bit of map consultation, because I have literally no idea how to get there. But I think I have to do one of those tricks where I come out, or I go through one side and come out on the other side. And maybe I also have to drop through the floor so that I come back down through the ceiling. Oh, I guess I'm going the right way, because there's vermilion there. Oh, you're supposed to say, this way looks dangerous, or it's dangerous to go there alone. And then offer me a sword, you asshole. Well, in any case, yeah, this looks like the correct way. This looks like some novel scenery. A little bit of a new landscape, and we got a warp zone there, so I know that I am absolutely on the right path. The last level we're going to do is actually probably the most inventive in terms of level design. I know I've said that one of the major strengths of this game is that the level design is so good. This level really epitomizes that with the way they toy with conventional gameplay mechanics, let's say. The gimmick, I guess I don't want to call it a gimmick because that has certain negative connotations, but we'll say the gimmick for this level is that the screens are all kind of Pac-Man-esque, meaning you can go out the right side and come out the left side, or you can go at the bottom and come out the top. And as shallow as that might sound, particularly using the Pac-Man analogy, it is used to fantastic effect. And hopefully, one day I will actually get to these levels so I can talk about them in greater detail. One thing I don't think that I've really expressed as much as I want to is how fantastic the soundtrack is in this game. Can't bring myself to say that many V's anymore, but yeah, the soundtrack is absolutely superb. And pretty much everyone who's played the game has mentioned to me that one of their favorite parts is the soundtrack. Far from just a nice addition or creating a good atmosphere, this is a soundtrack that kind of is essential to the gameplay. Well, not essential to the gameplay, I'm not saying like if you play it with your speakers off, you're missing out that much, although, you know, to a certain extent you are. But it adds so much to the game that it's very much an integral element. Sort of in the same way that, you know, the music in, I don't know, Super Mario World. Maybe a bad example. The music in the Bit Trip series is essential to the game, let's put it that way. It really makes the experience that much better. So now we are in the Warp Zone level. So called because of the warp zones we had to take to get here. And you can see that they're toying with the traditional platform model of solving puzzles, where now we have to exit one side, come out the other side, utilize the ceiling and holes in the floor, holes in the ceiling in order to navigate. Right now it's relatively simple, even though this part is actually quite difficult, just timing this jump properly. And I am having a hell of a time doing it right now. But I think, yeah, okay, we made it. As we get, you know, 2 or 3 minutes into this level, you can really see how interesting they get with the level design. And I said it before, but I can't say it enough. The level design in this game, absolutely superb and completely makes the game. If this was a game that had uninspired level design, it would be boring as hell. It would probably be, you know, nothing more than a glorified Flash game that you'd play for maybe 15 minutes and say, oh, you know, that's cool, and never touch again, as opposed to this, you know, potentially couple hour long masterpiece that you will probably replay over and over and over. At least many people will. It has the kind of depth where you can replay it over and over and over, let's put it that way. So yes, in Maze with No Entrance, they really are trying to drill into our heads how this mechanic works so that we understand it for the future screens. And I really like the title As We Go Up, We Go Down. I wonder if it's a reference to that Guided by Voices song. If it is, that is super cool. If it's not, it's just a coincidence that maybe only myself and a few other people truly appreciate or understand. Guided by Voices, band from the 90s. Highly recommended. in any case, this for me is probably the hardest level of the ones where you have to rescue crew members. Part of that is because I have the least experience with it, so maybe I'm a little bit biased there, but also I just think it ramps up in difficulty compared to particularly the stage where we got stages where we got Victoria, the stages where we got Vermilion. Those were relatively easy. This one is quite difficult for me, and you will see that many times throughout the course of this video. Particularly, I have to say that it's difficult because at this point in the game, I don't want to say I've mastered it, because you can clearly see me dying like a total ponce, but I've mastered the controls anyway. Like, these are not deaths because I'm just not familiar with the physics of the game. These are deaths because the obstacles they're presenting are actually really challenging. The thing with Captain Viridian that gets me the most is that he's a little bit slippery. So he doesn't have perfect traction when he lands on a platform. So I will oftentimes make a jump and then fall off because I didn't correct myself when I landed. I didn't counter-steer Captain Viridian. It's another obstacle that gives me nightmares. So it's very simple if you just take the time to stop and think about it. But if you're like me and you're just kind of jumping in all gung-ho, you're going to end up maybe struggling here. All you have to do is dodge those first two yellow pinwheels and then run down the staircase, and then the rest is very easy. But for some reason I just can't seem to bring myself to do the logical thing. Okay, there we go. And then just rinse and repeat on the top. It's actually easier on the top, because all you have to do is a flip and then run down. And this is really where the puzzles start to get quite inventive and really mind-bending, in the sense that like, you really have to think about what you're doing as you do it. You can't just mindlessly go through this platform. It is not a game like that, although I've mindlessly just jumped off with gravity in the completely wrong direction. But in any case, yeah, this is a thinking man's platformer, even more so than Meat Boy. Meat Boy is based heavily on, reflexes, and so is this game, but there's also a certain element of puzzle solving. I'm not saying it's super tough. Like, this is not Braid in terms of the amount of complex thought you need to put in order to complete these puzzles, but it is, like, take this screen for example. You have to have a relatively well thought out plan in order to beat this stage, because this is like nothing you will have ever seen in a platformer before. This one a little bit more straightforward, I think, although I have no idea how I would ever get that trinket. I mean, I can see the path I have to take through the the hole in the left side there, and then go up and Pac-Man style it, but that is well beyond my skill set at this level, to say the least. The brown gate. If anyone ever tells you to, go clean their brown gate or open their brown gate, say no, because they want you to do something to their anus. So we're back into Warp Zone territory here, going down to the Batcave. And once we get into these warp zones, it means we're coming a little bit closer to the end of the level. Still many difficult screens left, but we're in the home stretch, let's put it that way. And of course, since we're in the home stretch, they make things a little bit more difficult for us. The next screen, I'm going to employ some clever editing, because I was stuck at this screen for what felt like an eternity to me. It felt like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the guy's been protecting the Holy Grail for like 300 years. That's pretty much how long I felt I was stuck on this puzzle, but through the power of editing, look at that, I beat it on the second try, no problem. Pay special attention to the names of the levels here. We got this one, I Love You, and then if I could ever beat this level, we will see what the answer, the response to that call-in response is. Oh, that was just foolish on my part. I had the whole world in my hands. Just threw it away for nothing. It's like the exact opposite of the story in 8 Mile. Alright, just make the jump. Make the jump. Totally foolish, totally foolish. In any case, I want to leave some deaths in here to illustrate the fact that the game is quite difficult. But if I did this completely unedited, you would be bored out of your goddamn skulls constantly. I can't believe I made it through those hearts that time. That's pretty amazing. The video, instead of being 12 minutes long, would be like, I don't know, 40 minutes long. Maybe closer to a half hour, but, you know, I don't want to talk that long, and I don't think most of you want to hear me talk that long about just inane nonsense. But, you know, if you do, let me know. I'd be flattered and a little bit frightened for your sanity. This level, again, relatively straightforward, but it's got a little bit more of an action-type strategy that you need to do. So, you know, just because you figured this puzzle out in your head doesn't mean you're totally ready to do it with your hands. Much like Intercourse. But in any case, we've rescued Chief Verdigris, who is kind of a pathetic loser in the same vein as Violet, which is good because they clearly have some kind of love affair going on. I hope for Verdigris that it is not Verdigris, that it is not unrequited, because he seems like a sweet guy in spite of his ineptitude. So, having reached the teleporter, this is the last crew member that we have to rescue. But this is not the end of the game, because in true retro fashion, we have an insanely difficult epilogue level, which is set up thusly. Captain Viridian is missing. He's been lost in the process of his interdimensional travel. And we will finish this story next time. Thanks for watching.